Siobhan Danielle. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another vlog. Right now, at this moment, I am doing an assignment. I always wait till late to do an assignment. I like to enjoy the day doing nothing and then wait till nighttime to do shit. This is due on, hold on, Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is on Thursday? No, Friday. No, Friday is Saturday. It's due Saturday. Because Friday is the 13th. Friday the 13th. I want to go get a tattoo. I want to get a couple of them. And the best time to go would be Friday the 13th, right? But yeah, so I'm doing my assignment and I'm also watching the early seasons of Law and Order Special Victims Unit. I used to watch this show with my grandmother all the time. And our favorite part of the show was always the introduction. I miss my grandmother, man. I do. And speaking of my grandmother, so I've always wanted to do like the ancestry DNA thing to find more of my ancestors, obviously. And I randomly, like before I came back to school, I found this website called Family Search. But I never I think I saw something where you had to pay, and I just X'd it out. And then when I got back to school on the 23rd of January, I think that's Saturday the 24th, I got back on my computer and did the Family Search thing again. And then they had this I signed in, but I didn't have to pay. So it's like you sign in with your Google account and shit like that. So I did that. And then I just typed they had a area where you could look up the census records, right? So I typed in my grandmother's name, the year she was born, and where she's from. Dillon, South Carolina. And she was born 1939. So I looked it up, and the census records for the year 1950 came up. And I'm like, oh shit. And by the 1950s, my grandmother was like 10, 11, because she was born 1939. Right? Her birthday hadn't came yet, so she was 10. Her birthday is in October. Right? So I'm looking, I'm like, is this the right thing? Because I'm seeing the census records, and usually the whole full name is usually on the records, but her middle name wasn't on the records. So I'm looking, and then I see her middle name, and then I see her sister's name, and then I see her mother's name. And my great-grandmother's name is Minnie. And I'm like, I found something. They had the records, like who was in the house, and all that other stuff. I'm like, wow. But my great aunt, and my 3 great uncles, and my grandmother, I was like, oh shit. So I'm looking, and I'm like, let me see if I could find something else. And then I searched up my great-grandmother's name. Her shit came up too. And I think it was the year, it was obviously still under the year 1950. And then it also said the year she was born, which is 1912. I'm like, I am close to finding out who my great-great-grandmother is. So we have a Facebook family group chat, right? And all the cousins on my grandmother's side of the family, her dad's side of the family, and her mom's side of the family. My great-grandmother's last name was Page. So all the great-grands and grandchildren on the great-grandmother's side of the family was in that group chat. And, they had a list of people who come and introduce themselves, who are they kids of, who the grandparents are, and all that other stuff. And then, my grandmother's passed, so her nephews and stuff posted who they was related to. And these are cousins that I've never seen before. Like, I've gone to, because some of them left. They left South Carolina. Some of them stayed, and some moved to New Jersey. The ones that moved to New Jersey is obviously closer to us because we're in New York. It's only a train ride away. So one year we went actually a couple times. I met one of my grandmother's brothers, but I was like in elementary school, but I had met him when he was like dying. He had passed away and stuff. I think in 2006, I met him when I was 8. I had to count that real quick. I'm like, I don't want my math to be off, but it was short. So I was 8 years old and stuff. It's actually so interesting because I remember that day we was having an assembly in elementary school and they was giving out awards. I don't know if this happened before or after. I'm going to assume it's after. But they was giving out awards for like perfect attendance and stuff like that. But I wasn't in school for like 2 days due to a funeral. So if there was no funeral, is that a car or is that fucking thunder? Y'all, I don't even know if y'all heard that, but the past 2 days, the wind was blowing like crazy. It was -6 degrees outside. Anyways, back to what I was saying. Awards at school for perfect attendance, but 2 days I missed because of a funeral. I remember this one girl being mad that I had got award for perfect attendance. She was like, but she wasn't here for 2 days. I went to a funeral. My uncle died. My great uncle died. Like, is it ever that serious? You're making a fuss because of that? Mind you, my elementary school was literally across the street from my house. I have never missed a day of school. Even when I was sick, nowadays, well, if your kid is sick, they should stay home. I had a stomach bug. So it wasn't even like, I wasn't in school the whole day that day though. That was like 5th grade. Half the day I wasn't in school, so I probably woke up like mad early. Cause you know when you get the stomach bug, you don't get the stomach bug right away. I feel like it wakes you up at 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. They wake up, bitch, your stomach hurt. You finna throw up. Like, why are you waking me up out of my sleep? But yeah, wake up so you can throw up. You don't want to be sleeping and you start throwing up and then it get lodged in your lungs and your throat and you start choking and shit on it. No. So, but half the day I was sick. And then when I think like 12 o'clock came, 11, 12, I was feeling a little bit better and I had some noodles and stuff. But I was like, from throwing up all that time, that shit makes you so tired, exhausted. Like you can't, it's like every little second is, and then you don't have no food in your stomach because you can't keep nothing down. But it keeps making you want to throw up. I don't know what that's about, and I don't even know why that's a thing. But yeah, the girl was mad because I got perfect attendance and I missed 2 days of school because of funeral. So back to what I was saying. Some of them relocated to Jersey. I met him. He was sick. And then I think we might have went, I don't know if that was all the same weekend when I met my cousins. And then my mom and her cousin went to Atlantic City. And they brought me back this Minnie Mouse clock. And I peed in the bed. I don't know who house he was at. I was laying on that couch. I peed in the bed. I don't know what it was. I would go to sleep. I would have a dream that I'm using the bathroom and I just pee in the bed. I'm sorry, I couldn't control myself. But yeah, I met him that time. And then the next time I went to Jersey and we was around the family meeting more of the cousins and stuff was like 2012 for Thanksgiving. And then that same year, I think it was before I turned 14 or 15. It was 2012 we went. So maybe like 2013. It was for the 4th of July. My birthday was coming up. I did not want to be there. Like, I was one of those kids, like, you know what? We could go over there. If it wasn't my god sister's house or my house, I did not want to be there. I don't like sleeping over at people's house that I do not know. We also slept over in 2012. We went to my mom's cousin house, who was the son of the great uncle that passed. Yeah. The great uncle that passed, his name was Joe. So it was Uncle Joe. And his kids, his son, we stayed at his house and stuff. And I met my mom's cousin. He's my cousin too, but I feel like he's more my mom's cousin because they first cousins. He would be my second cousin. Y'all, it's hot. Me talking is making me hot. I don't understand. But yeah, we stayed at the house. We spent the night. That was 2012. Holy shit. Oh, I was in middle school. Yeah. And then they had came up. We went down there. This is when I was really like, Twilight was old by then, because the first movie had came out like 2008, and then I don't know which one of the movies came out in 2012. It might have been Eclipse. Or New Moon. And I think New Moon came out before 2012 or something. I don't know. But my mom's cousin had a girlfriend. They still together. I don't know if they're married now or anything. But she had this she had the Eclipse book. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so obsessed. I read the book. That thick ass book. That was a thick fucking book. But you know what the thing is with me about reading books? If the book is interesting, no matter how thick it is, I'm gonna finish that shit in like 3-4 days. I used to stay up all night reading the book. I even used to go to the was it middle school that I was doing that? No, in middle school we did have a class where she would give us a reading log, and we would read the book. And to make sure that we're reading it, our parents have to sign it, or something like that. Or she would have to sign, like you have to bring the book back. She'll give us like a week or something to read the book, bring it back, get it signed, like see who can read the most books. Something like that, I don't remember. But yeah, I read that thick ass book and I was excited. She said, if you read this book and you'll get good grades on your test, I'm gonna give you $100. She came because it was Black Friday. It was Thanksgiving, Black Friday. We came home we were still there during Black Friday. We went to, I don't know if we went to Walmart, Best Buy, one of those stores, and my mother bought a flat screen TV, and she left it there because obviously we don't have a car, we can't bring this up, so she left it there, and then they brought it to us and stuff, and I showed the lady, my mom's cousin's girlfriend. I'm like, pay up. I really liked her. I'm pretty sure if she seen me, she would be so happy to see me because I haven't seen them since Thanksgiving. Specifically her, because I don't even know if she came to whose house we were staying at for the 4th of July. Oh, we were staying at Stacy's mom's house. That's my grandmother's cousin on her mom's side of the family. Yeah. That's my grandmother's coming on her mom's side. But I just had a moment just thinking about it. And then they also have pictures and stuff like that. And I found a picture of my grandmother's dad. My grandmother's dad, which is my great-grandfather, he had an older son from a previous marriage, but he had passed away. But I don't know what year. And I wonder if he had kids. So in total, it was 6 kids, I think. Junior, Aunt Agnes, Uncle Calvin, Uncle Joe, Grandma, Uncle Carl. 6. So 6 kids in total. But you know, the oldest, Junior, wasn't by my great grandmother, Minnie. So yeah, by the time I promise you, up until 2000, 2018, it was just my grandmother and her sister left. One of my great uncles passed away in 1998. I think January 1998. And one passed away in 1993. No, it was 1996. One passed away in 1998. One passed away in 96. Uncle Joe passed away 2006. And then I don't know what year Junior passed away. But I don't know what everybody else has been doing, but I've been trying to like go all the way back in the familysearch.org, like in the census. I've been trying to go all the way back to like as far as it'll let me go. So my great grandmother was born 1912. My great grandfather was born 1909 or 1910. One of those two. I think it said 1909. And then my great grandmother's mother, my great great grandmother, she was born 1872. She was the first generation born free from slavery. So her mother was born, matter of fact, I think I do. I think her mother was born 1859. Yes, it was 1859 to 1872. No, 1859. That's too close. That's way too close. 1859 to 1872. That's way too close. I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like that. But I don't remember if it was 1859 or it was a little bit earlier than that. Or did I even see, a year? I know the name, but I can't remember the year that I saw. But I've been trying to find my great-great-grandparents on my grandmother's father's side of the family. I looked in the census, I looked up the names and stuff. Nothing has come up. Like, I'm trying to go all the way back, like, see exactly where they came from. Have they always been in South Carolina, or were they somewhere else before they were moved and then came to South Carolina? But I don't know what everybody else is doing. I've been trying to figure it out and put the pieces together. I do know that the information is true because my great aunt, the last child, she's in her 90s. The last child, she has, said all the information was correct. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep digging when I'm not busy. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow once I turn this assignment in and stuff. Been trying to find as much pictures as I can. I've been trying to even look up. They have another website where you can look up the, things that happened in that time frame. So my great aunt was born 1932. The second child was born 1937. No, it was 1937. No, 1935. Then the next one was born 1938. My grandmother was 1939. Then the last child was born 1943. Y'all can't tell, I'm sweating. I might need to turn that heat off. I might got to turn the heat off because the wind is not blowing as hard as it was yesterday. I ain't need to turn it off. And this morning, I ain't need to turn it off. This, like I said before in one of my videos, there's a crack in the window that the wind blows, the fucking air still comes through. So it's kind of regulated through cold and warm. Where I'm gonna be sweating like that, but shit, if this keep happening and no air come through that window, that's going off because I'm not gonna be sweating in my sleep. But also, I need to be mindful that because I'm sweating, I don't need to be opening the window because that cold air can get me sick. And I'll have on a tank top and shorts. I really don't want to get up under these covers. These covers make it even more hotter. And you want to know what else is crazy? I'm laying on a heating pad. That's insane if you ask me. But yeah, I'm glad I'm glad, and I'm kind of sad because I wish I would have been able to like ask my grandma about things that happened, because my grandmother was born during the Jim Crow era. All her children, all my great grandmother's children was born during the Jim Crow era. And like, especially in Dillon, South Carolina, when South Carolina was one of the original 13 colonies. Heavily racism down there. The South. So there's possibly a lot of things that they could have seen, like, but the thing was, like, I wouldn't have even thought, nobody even thought my grandmother would pass so soon. Shit happened overnight. I swear to y'all. It was like, I just still can't even believe how that shit declined so fast. She was fine in October for her birthday. She was fine. Her birthday is October 30th. She was fine. Then she got sick after that, went into the hospital, and this is when I had came home for Thanksgiving. We went to the hospital to see her. They asked her if she wanted to stay in their hospital, the nursing home, or she wanted to go home and be comfortable. She chose to go home. We brought her home. We had Thanksgiving dinner. My mom cooked. My grandmother had a aide. She did all the chopping the collard greens and prepping it, and then my mother came cooked, the last Thanksgiving we had with her. And then I went back to school. This is when I was in school in Buffalo. Went back to school. I knew I was coming back home. I'd be back home by literally December 8th. I wasn't staying at school that long while my grandmother was sick. And then came back home for the winter break. Christmas, she was fine. She was on hospice. She was getting weak, so she couldn't get out the bed. She couldn't do any of that. And then I think after what was it? I think December 27th. No, it's closer to December 31st. I think the 29th. No, it had to be the 30th. The 29th, no, it was the 30th. Yeah, it was the 30th. Because the aide, she called my mom, and it was like 6 o'clock in the morning. And she was like, your mother's not waking up. Like, her eyes, she's not waking up. She's not waking up. I'm like, what do you mean she's not waking up? It's like I'm like saying her name, she's not opening her eyes. But like my grandmother was like this. But like her eyes, she just wasn't able to open her eyes. And on the wall, my grandmother had a DNR. Do not resuscitate. But I seen that before. I'm like, because when I came home, when the aide in the morning left, we had an aide come in the afternoon, in the evening. Then when she left, somebody had to be there to change her and stuff, and cook her food, make her breakfast. That for me, it's like it wasn't nothing. I sat in the room. We moved my grandmother from the bed because we had to take the pads, the wee pads off the bed if she used the bathroom on herself, and like put in the pamper and stuff on her and all that other stuff. And she stopped eating. She stopped taking her medicine, and you can't force somebody to take their medicine if they don't want to take it. That means it's time. It means it's time. So, yeah. And then it got real serious because it was New Year's Eve, the 30th. And my mom's friend, who was also working as a health aide, she was like, you know what, I'm going to come down there with y'all. We're going to bring in the new year and stuff like that. I'm be with you when this transition happens, if it happens today, to make sure we monitor her. My grandmother had an oxygen tank on the side of her bed. We had to put in her nose because I didn't even realize the TV was going off. But that was at the nighttime. That morning, who was at the house? I think it was just me. I was sleeping on the couch in the living room and stuff. My mother had came and she was like, Siobhan, I'm going to grandma's house. I'm like, why are you going to grandma's house? She said she's not opening her eyes. That's out of quick. I'm like, who's not opening their eyes? Not my grandmother. Who is not opening her? You better tell her to wake up. I know that much. How old was I then? I was 20. Yeah, I was 20. I was turning 21 and I turned 21 in 2019. Yes, I was 20 when that happened. Oh, because sometimes I be accidentally miscalculating how many years it's been since my grandmother died. It's literally, she died when I was 20, so I'm 27, so that means 7 years. But yeah, went to the house. I got there. Me and my sister went there. And then people that my grandmother knew in the area that she lived came. It was so weird and sad. And then my uncle's best friend, they grew up together. Because I promise y'all, I'm like, I don't even want to go in the room. When I got there, I went there. I rubbed her arm so she could know it was me. I said, Grandma, it's me. Hi, Grandma. She is like, she would react if you touched her. Like, she was still there. Like, she was still there, but she just wasn't able to open her eyes. And then I'm just watching people come in and out of the house, in and out of the house, in and out of the house. I don't know what it was. I went in the room. I stood there. Because that whole time, while I'm changing my grandmother and everything, I had that same day, earlier in the day, I'm like, or if I don't know if it was in that same day or it was before then, when me and my mother had a conversation, I said, Ma, do you think grandma's going to make it to your birthday? She said, I think she said yeah. No, she hesitated, and then she said, I would like her to. And then I was like, I don't think she's gonna make it. She might make it to New Year's Day or the 2nd, but I don't think she's gonna make it to your birthday. So that was that. But I stood there at the side of my grandmother's bed while my uncle's best friend was over there on the other side of me, and then the aide was on the right side. I stood there. I just cried. I fucking cried. I I just couldn't even believe that my grandmother was dying. I couldn't even believe that I was literally taking care of my grandmother in the last few weeks. Like, I'm watching her get skinnier and skinnier and skinnier and bones. And you know, the thing is, you have to make peace with what's about to happen, because if you don't, the stages of grief that you're going to go through is going to be out of this world. I didn't have any stages of grief. I didn't, because I knew. And you want to know, and it's even crazy because when I got back to school that January and classes resumed, I had this class, and what I watched my grandmother go through, we literally slide by slide in the presentation that the teacher was giving us was talking about that. It was like a health class. And I'm like, I literally just went through this. The stages of life. My grandmother watched me be born. She took care of me, changed my diapers, and I returned that favor to her. Up until she stopped breathing. Well, I wasn't in the room when she stopped breathing. I wasn't. Because right across the hall is my grandmother's friend, who I also call, it's my sister's godmother, but her daughter is my godmother. So locked in, and my god sisters, who I be with all the time, locked in. So across the hall from each other, and she used to be a nurse, so she's a retired nurse. That day was so hectic, like, stayed there the whole night, went next door. I'm over there sleeping on the couch, 9 o'clock or 9:30, one of those. My mother ran across the hall while I'm asleep, and she's like, she's not waking up, like, she's not breathing. I woke up, I'm waking up out my sleep, and my mother is frantic. My mother was frantic, and she went over there, checked the pulse. Like, I followed right behind, and I didn't even go in the room. Like, you know when the door's open and you stand and you looking at somebody, like you peeping? Well, don't take it that way. Like you trying to scare somebody, like that. And I was looking, and I fucking ran out of the house crying. I ran out of my grandmother's house crying, and I ran to my uncle. I ran to my uncle. My other uncle wasn't even home, so he wasn't even home to like get his goodbyes. And then my cousin came, the one whose baby is at my house. My cousin came with his girlfriend. I think I'm trying to remember if he came early in the day. Yeah, he came earlier in the day, and he was standing by the window in the hallway, like realizing what was about to happen, what was going to change, and stuff. I think he's the oldest grandchild, so it hit different for him. And my grandmother raised him, like, even though that was his grandmother, she also raised him as her son, and he called her mommy. He ain't called her, like, when he talking to other people, he be like, yeah, my grandmother, but he would be like, mommy. And then my other uncle, he was living in North Carolina. Something happened with him, and next day, January 1st, he was just back in the house. Me and my sister came to the house. Well, before I get there, they had to call the morgue to come get the body. My sister's dad showed up to escort. Like, he came quick. My godmother came, my god sister came, then my uncle came in. I've never heard my uncle cry like that before. And then my uncle that I ran to, his best friend lived around the corner, like in the same building on the same floor, but around the corner. His mother came. My grandmother was loved. My grandmother was loved. I don't think I ever saw the day that she was gonna go so soon. I at least thought 86, like 86. I'm so grateful that I got to spend 20 years with my grandmother, though. And my sister was at the house, but no, she wasn't there. She went out. She was there early in the day. She went out. When I got back over to my godmother's house, I went into the bathroom and I called my sister. She was like, why would you tell me that while I'm out? I'm like, I don't know. It happened. Would you wanted me to wait until you came home to tell you hours after the fact? Like, it was crazy, y'all. Just thinking about it is crazy. I miss her so much. I do. And I don't mean to cry on camera. That was not my intent. My intent was to come up here to let y'all know that I went on census and I found out who what year my great grandmother was born, great uncles, great grandfather, great grand, like that was my intent. But yeah, I miss my grandmother. We all do. But what I will say is, she passed from lung cancer, complications from lung cancer. They did the surgery to remove the cancer, right? But they didn't fully remove it because it spread. She came home, her fucking lungs, the lungs what was it? The last one she had was fucking impacted. Her neck was big. She had to go to the hospital and all the other shit. But, you know, my grandmother was on this planet for 74 years. 74 or 76. One of those. Matter of fact, I'll be right back. She was 79 when she passed. I don't know where I got 74 or 76 from. She was 79 years old when she passed. But, yeah, she got 79 beautiful years on the planet before she passed away. And I am grateful to have been known as Pat 2.0. You ain't never seen my grandmother without me. I was always with my grandmother. Always. Mini Pat. But yeah, I think I had to get that out. I mean, I don't ever have moments where I sit and when I think about her and I cry. I don't do that because I made peace with it and stuff. I didn't go through the stages of grief. I had that moment with myself and that realization, like, this is what's going to happen. Things are going to change, and it's going to be obviously very different. Now we have to be on this planet without grandma. Like, it's going back down to godmother's house, but there's no grandma next door. No holidays, no birthdays, like none of that. It's no more. But what we could do is just keep the tradition going and always think of her, look at pictures, you got memories and stuff. And yeah, but I just wanted to share that with y'all. I'm sorry for that. I'm so sorry. I did not intend for that to happen. I'm sweating like a motherfucker. Jesus. But yeah. All right. I guess that's enough for this vlog. I'll see y'all in the next one.